Have you ever felt stagnant in your creativity when it comes to your marketing, where you feel like, man, I cannot seem to come up with anything creative to do at this moment? On this episode, we are going to explore a couple of ways for you to revive your creativity so that you'll have some different ways of looking at how to approach your marketing. Come listen.
Welcome to the Behind Her Brand podcast with your host, Kimberly Spencer. Every week, join Kimberly and her guest for inspiring interviews with passionate business builders, corporate leaders, and catalysts of change. Plus, we will be sharing business and career building strategies and tools that you can use to grow. So let's dive into today's episode.
I work with a really incredible group of women business owners, and recently, one of the things I was hearing the most from them at a couple of our meetings was they were feeling very stalled in their marketing. They were feeling a little stalled in their creativity and feeling like, I keep putting out the same information. I can't seem to come up with new ways of doing something. And they were even feeling bored by their own creativity and things that they're putting out there. And I get it. I've been there. I think we've all been there where you feel like you're just in this machine and you're pumping out stuff, pumping it, and getting it out there because you're told to have the blog posts and you're doing your podcast and you have your web page and you have all these different things you're trying to do. And oftentimes that creativity, that sense of like, man, this is really fun. This is cool. And a way to express yourself sometimes gets lost in the shuffle of getting things out. I get it. I've been there. I can totally relate to that. And so what I want to do is share with you a couple of things to consider, a couple of things to say, could I do one or both of the things I'm going to suggest to you? Because when you want to keep growing your business and you want to keep being relevant and keep being present and all those different things, creativity is very key. And I often hear people say, well, I'm just not creative. Kim, I can't come up with nothing creative for the life of me. And I never believe that. I believe that everybody has a sense of creativity about them. It's just a matter of how to tap into it. And it also is a matter of where you're creative at. Okay. So first and foremost, I'm going to suggest that you change your environment. Not every day. It may not be every month. It may not be every week. But whenever you really want to be in a creative space, challenge yourself not to create in the same space that you work in every single day. If you know that you need to do a batch of information, batch of blogs, a batch of writings for social media, what have you, consider going to a new place, a new area. People know this about me. I absolutely love getting away every quarter for about a week. And sometimes it's going to a hotel. It may be going to my childhood home, wherever it may be. And I love to be able to be in a space where it's quiet. I take a couple things that I love to do. Like I love to read. I may have some stored up Netflix movies I want to have playing in the background. But I like being in a place where I'm just fully present and I can write, I can create, I can literally let my ideas flow. And my environment literally dictates for me personally how creative I can be. I'm also a huge, huge, huge beach person. I love water, absolutely love water. I love beautiful lakes. I love, but I'm more partial to beaches, but I create the most when I'm sitting on a beach. And I take a notepad out there and I just write ideas. That's how actually Behind Her Brand, So Harvest was created, sitting on a beach, looking out, and I can literally sit there for like 5 or 6 hours. It's crazy, I know, but I can. And I can look at the people, enjoying the water, enjoying the breeze, enjoying all the different things. And I just let my mind relax. And it's amazing how I start thinking of things and things flow, which is why I always keep a notepad with me when I'm on the beach. And now I keep it with me in my purse because ideas just flow. And when you change your environment, you change your disposition. Sometimes depending on the environment you go into, you're more relaxed. You can think a little clearly. If you have a family, sometimes getting away and having the quietness of just being by yourself can really challenge how creative you can be because you're in a different headspace. Whatever that looks like for you, whether you take a couple of hours away, whether you take a day, whether you do an overnight, a week, whatever fits you, your schedule, and your personality, I'm going to challenge you to change your environment. Because when you do that, you'll find that not just that you become more creative, but you'll also become more present to what it is you need to do with your own business, period. Because when you're able to step away out of the normal place that you're building, out of the normal place that you're working, taking calls, processing orders, or whatever it might look like for you, when you take yourself out of that space and you go into another space where you can just be creative, you start looking at even areas of your business, areas where, man, not only am I being creative right now, but I'm also able to see some other things in my business that I probably need to change. I need to switch up or whatever you might need to do to enhance your brand. So that's the first thing I'm going to suggest. The next thing I'm going to suggest, and this is something I did with ladies, and I know they first were looking at me so crazy. Asked them to meet me at a mall. Okay. And we have this really big mall here in my area that's a very creative mall. And here we are, 20 plus ladies coming in here. They're like, we're having a meeting in here. Where are we meeting in here? And so then I handed them each an envelope and I said, I'm going to challenge you guys to come up with 3 blog posts, 3 podcasts, and 3 pieces of social media. I also want you to record 2 to 3 little short videos. And they're like, what? Now, mind you, all these ladies are not in the same areas of expertise or niches. In the group, we had a fashion designer, we had a lady who had an academic business, a fitness trainer. Like, everyone was very different. And so they're like, what am I supposed to find inspiration here? And I told them, walk around the mall and look around. Let your mind literally look and see what you can write, what you can, and come up with new content. And I gave them very little instructions because I didn't want to oversaturate with too much information because then it hinders creativity. And so, but I did give them an example. I said, if you look over there, you see the little exit sign, right? And they said, yes. I said, from that exit sign, how many blog posts could you write from that? So I looked at my fitness trainer. I said, could you write, here are the top 3 reasons people exit a fitness regimen, why they check out before they even begin. I looked over at my fashion designer and I said, when the exit usually means leave. What are some fashion trends that, man, you should leave behind, in a fun kind of way? And so when I started giving them different examples like that, they were like, oh my God. I said, so walk around and just look and just see. And they walked slowly because I can tell they were all like, okay. And I gave them 1 hour. And I cannot begin to tell y'all, when they came back in an hour, they were like pumped. And they were so excited. And they were like, Kim, this was like one of the best exercises they've ever did. And I said, okay, let's share. So we sat down, we all had lunch. And I said, share what happened, what took place. And the coolest thing about it was the amount of ideas that they came with. One person saw a sculpture that was very intricate. And so she came up with a blog post about that for her audience. Another person, she was a wellness coach. And so she went to the food court area and she saw so much that she could write on about that, but in a fun new way. And they were finding all these different ideas because they were in a different environment. And that's what I want to challenge you to do. It's not just about changing your environment, but go someplace and literally let your mind take in what you're seeing. Like, I even have jumped on a road. When I say jump on a road, get in my car and drive and look around because I needed some new blog post ideas. And I remember going to, or stopping at a stop sign, and I saw the stop sign and I wrote a couple of blogs off of that. What is it you need to stop saying to yourself? What is it that you need to stop believing about yourself? What is it that you need to stop and then fill in a blank? And then when I was able to go, I look at that too. When do you need to have moments of pause? Because when you stop at a stop sign, you're pausing for a second, right? So I wrote about that. Seasons of pause. I wrote about times when you should take a pause. And as I kept driving on the road, I just kept seeing different things. I drove into a neighborhood and I saw all the houses were literally like identical. There was no difference to them. And I wrote about how to stand out when you're in a crowded market. So these are some different things that I personally did, which I know may sound a little odd, a little different, but this is where you have to challenge yourself to keep a very open mind. Okay. Going to a mall may not be your thing, but maybe just seeing what's around you, taking in what's around you will help you come up with new ways of looking at something and new ways on how to present something to your audience. Like, I can tell you now, those ladies would have never thought going to a mall that day would have given them so much great content. And it was so fun to see them so excited and so engaged and realizing that there's information, there's creativity all around us. It just depends on what you choose to see. So to recap, create in the new environment. Okay. Challenge yourself after listening to this, saying, what can I do in the next 30 days, even if it's just for the day or if just for an overnight at a hotel? Where can I go so I can create and come up with some new ideas? And wherever you go, don't beat yourself up if you feel like, man, nothing's coming. Just breathe and relax and let it come. If you're saying I need some new blog posts, I'll give you a little tidbit here. Think about, what information do you want to share now? Look at your past blog posts and see, is there a trend of information that I'm sharing? And if it is, what else would be relevant to my reader? What else do they need to know? What else can I share from my own level of expertise and experience? And then jot those things down and then let your creativity flow in terms of what to share. Okay. Next, like I said, challenge yourself to look at your environment that you're living in every single day, whether you go to the mall, whether you're flying, or whether you're driving down a neighborhood. Challenge yourself to look at your environment and really think about, what can I write that can be creative? You'll find that to keep that creative juices flowing, it really, really is dependent on what you see. And it's also dependent on taking that time for yourself and changing your environment. Okay. I can't wait. And I would love for you to share with us some of the ways that you have shaken up how you are being creative, and ways that you have, when maybe you went for a jog and you came up with some new great ideas. Maybe you went walking on a new trail. Maybe I have a couple clients that hike a lot. They went hiking somewhere new and different and came up with some new, fresh perspectives. Whatever it is, I would absolutely love to hear it, because creativity can be shared. And more ideas that are flowing between people of like mind, it really and truly can enhance what you're doing. Okay. So thank you for listening to another episode of our Behind Her Brand. And you can learn more about what we have to offer for you at www.behindherbrand.net.